My Neighbor Totoro is an incomparably charming nostalgic anime masterpiece set in 1950s Japan and featuring forest spirits that reside in its forests. Japan 1958, young Professor Tatsuo Kusakabe moves his daughters, Satsuki and Mei, to a rural house near the hospital where their mother is receiving treatment. As the girls settle into the countryside, they discover that peculiar creatures resembling animal-like forest spirits live nearby. Soon, first Mei and then Satsuki encounter a giant and powerful yet kind and caring guardian of the forest, whom Mei names Totoro. The word Totoro is a distorted Japanese child's pronunciation of the Western word troll. Such creatures are unknown in Japanese folklore. Miyazaki created Totoro by combining the appearances of a raccoon-like dog, cat, and owl. After the successful release of Castle in the Sky in 1986, Studio Ghibli released 2 animated films in theaters 2 years later: Isao Takahata's war drama Grave of the Fireflies and Hayao Miyazaki's nostalgic fairy tale, My Neighbor Totoro. It was not a display of the animators' self-assuredness. On the contrary, the bosses at Ghibli doubted that a film about 2 girls and a forest monster in the countryside would capture the attention of Miyazaki fans who loved him as the creator of fantastic blockbusters. That's why Totoro was released as an essential companion to Grave of the Fireflies, which was based on a well-known novel and considered important for school moral education. Japanese children would go to see Grave of the Fireflies in large groups, and they were delighted to have a double feature where they could watch not only one of the saddest Japanese animations, but also one of the happiest. For Hayao Miyazaki, My Neighbor Totoro is partly autobiographical. He grew up as a child in the same region of Japan where the film is set, and his mother suffered from tuberculosis and spent a long time in the hospital. Today, it is difficult to see Grave of the Fireflies and My Neighbor Totoro not only in the same screening but also on the same list, as they are creations of different directors in different genres. It's a pity because these films only benefit from comparison since they depict the same country with a 10-year gap and both films revolve around 2 very close-knit children. However, while Grave of the Fireflies portrays the horrors of war and the temporary dissolution of society into family molecules, My Neighbor Totoro showcases a heavenly, idyllic country that one would want to move to in order to experience the hospitality, kindness, and togetherness of its inhabitants. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to not miss new videos. And if you want to buy me a coffee, the link is in the description. By demonstrating how much kinder My Neighbor Totoro is compared to other books and animated films with similar plots, one can refer to the scene where Mei, overwhelmed with joy, tells her father and sister about seeing Totoro. Typically, such scenes end with friends and relatives mocking the young heroes and accusing them of having an overly vivid imagination. However, Tatsuo, though unable to contain his laughter at the sight of the excited little girl, seriously tells his daughter that she was fortunate to see the forest spirit who brings prosperity to their region. He then leads the girls to the shrine, where they can express their gratitude to Totoro together. What an emotional and unexpected scene! It's worth noting that Tatsuo is not a superstitious peasant but a university scholar. Nevertheless, he is a Japanese man of the 1950s, not a 2010s American who would sooner die than take his daughters to a Christian church. Furthermore, the titular character of the film is named after the asteroid 10160 Totoro, discovered in 1994 by Japanese astronomer Takao Kobayashi. Understandably, in such a benevolent world, there are no conflicts, and even the serious illness of the girl's mother, presumably tuberculosis, is the reason why the hospital is located far away from the city. Only towards the end of the film does it begin to impact the mood of the heroines and create dramatic situations. This has always been the main stumbling block for critics evaluating My Neighbor Totoro. Can a film with so much goodness that leaves little room for evil be considered a masterpiece of Japanese animation? After all, the foundation of narrative art is conflict, struggle, and overcoming, rather than universal harmony permeating the film from the beginning to the end. To answer this question, we need to remind ourselves that conflict in art is not the goal but a means of understanding humanity and the world. For example, Star Wars is primarily a story of how Luke discovers himself and transforms from a naive young boy into a Jedi Master. The war between the Republic and the Empire is necessary to provide context, drive, and drama to this self-discovery. Just as documentary films don't require the construction of conflicts to tell gripping stories, narrative films are not obligated to juxtapose good and evil if they can captivate viewers through other means. And if a director can manage without crutches of conflict, they are all the more deserving of respect and the title of a genius. Miyazaki did an excellent job. And not just because of the appearance of the remarkable Totoro, who became a symbol of Studio Ghibli and all of Japanese animation. If we were to list all of its scenes, it turns out that Totoro is a significant but secondary character, with his main appearances occurring in the final episodes of the film. Unlike the equally charming, flying helper named Carlson from Astrid Lindgren's books, whom Miyazaki also adores, Totoro doesn't say a word and doesn't push the main heroines into the background. He is not the essence of the film, but rather the most whimsical part of the world that the girls explore when they find themselves in the real, traditional Japan: rice fields, houses with sliding walls, ancient shrines, caring neighbors, and forest spirits. The film captures how this world is discovered alongside Satsuki and Mei, through the admiring eyes of mischievous girls, and it also closely observes the girls themselves with adult kindness and endearment. One of them does her best to substitute for her sick mother and take care of her younger sister, while the other is still so naive that she isn't frightened at all when she discovers the sleeping, enormous, clawed Totoro. An adult would have died of fright from such an encounter. If desired, one can consider Miyazaki's progression from Nausicaa to Totoro as an evolution of his mastery in depicting girls and young women. While Nausicaa is portrayed as an idealized superheroine and Sheeta in Castle in the Sky as a brave and noble princess with human vulnerabilities, Satsuki and Mei are completely realistic as real children, without any claims of saving the world. And this is even more captivating than the exhilarating flights of the girls on Totoro's back or inside the cat bus, a magical cat creature usually used by forest spirits for transportation. At least, that's how it appeals to adult viewers. For children, Totoro and the cat bus are undoubtedly more interesting than the girls running around their new house or their excursions into nature. This is the charm of Totoro and the skill of its creator. Viewers of any age will find something that captivates and enchants them in the film. And towards the end of the movie, one can even feel a bit of suspense. Furthermore, Miyazaki's recipe of a strong dose of happiness serves as an excellent antidote to the depression that life or darker art sometimes induces. And if one wants not only to rejoice but also to shed tears, for that, there is Grave of the Fireflies, which already has a video on the channel. Lastly, it should be noted that the animation and visuals of the film are beyond praise, and at this moment, the words Studio Ghibli animation have become synonymous with sumptuous and flawless imagery. The wonderful music by Joe Hisaishi supports the narrative throughout the film, not just in specific scenes as in Nausicaa and Castle in the Sky. Among all the creators who worked on Miyazaki's films, the composer has shown the most significant growth between Nausicaa and Totoro. In just a few years, he transformed into one of the masters behind the scenes of Japanese cinema, not only in the realm of animation. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.